Are you looking to hit $1 million in your landscaping business, or are you trying to add another million to your existing top line revenue? In this video, I'm going to break down the exact blueprint of what it would look like to create a marketing campaign designed to create $1 million in additional revenue for your business. What's going on, you guys? This is Matt Thibeau here with Savant Marketing Agency. And in this video, like I said, I'm going to break down exactly what it would look like to create $1 million campaign for your business. I want to say that we don't make any income claims or anything like that on this channel. This is simply just for educational purposes. So I'm not implying that you could do the same or that you could just go out and get these types of results. This is going to take time, effort, and a lot of expertise to be able to pull off. Now, with that being said, we have done this multiple times with our clients, so it is realistic to be able to add $1 million to your business. You just need the right systems and team to be able to make it happen. So my goal here is by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what it would cost and what it would look like to create $1 million campaign in your landscaping business. So let's jump right into things here. All right, so number one thing, first off, is you need to have your money math right. I call this financial modeling, right? So $1 million in a year, if we divide that by 12, is around $83,000 to $84,000 per month. And so a lot of guys say, hey, I want to add $1 million to my business, but they don't actually have the foundation right, or the money math doesn't really make sense to be able to hit that actual goal, right? Because for us to add $84,000 per month, that means that we're going to need around an additional 6 jobs at $15,000 per month, right? We could do it with a lot more jobs that are smaller. So a lot more, so 84 jobs at $1,000 each, or, we could just do one $84,000 job. However, I would recommend somewhere in the middle of that. So for this purpose of this example, I'm going to say that we're going to do 6 jobs at $15,000 per job. So it's not quite a small job, but it's not also a very large job either. So what I would call that is going to be the average order value, right? So the average order value that we're going to pick here is going to be $15,000. For you, it might be slightly different, but again, like I said, for the purpose of this video, it's going to be $15,000. So that means that we need 6 jobs. Now, a trick that I like to do for financial modeling is something I call the 50-30 rule. What is that? What that means is that generally you're going to book 50% of the leads that you generate through Facebook ads as an estimate, and then 30% of those estimates are going to close. That's the minimum benchmark that we hold our clients to, and that you should strive for as well. Obviously, it'd be great if you get more, but generally when we're doing financial modeling, we want to be conservative. So if we take the 50-30 rule, that is 6 jobs. That would be roughly 20 estimates per month that we need to put out to be able to land 6 jobs, assuming a 30% closing rate and a 50% booking rate. So that means that we would just take 20 estimates and times that by 2, which would be 40 leads per month that we need. So 40 qualified leads to be able to make 6 jobs a month a reality, right? Now, typically on Facebook ads, the benchmark that we look for cost per lead is going to be anywhere from $30 all the way to $50. That's kind of the benchmark that we would hold ourselves to of what we would define as a good cost per lead. Now, for this case though, I always like to be conservative. I think it's important to shoot, let's say that our cost per lead is a little bit higher than that. We still want to be able to be conservative in that to make sure that we're going to be able to hit our goal. So let's say that we're coming in at $75 leads, right? So a little bit more than $50, and maybe we could work our way to get that lower over time. That works out to be around $3,000 per month in ad spend that we're going to need for this Facebook ads campaign to actually hit $1 million for the year. A lot of landscapers won't actually do financial modeling. They won't think about these numbers beforehand, and they'll just kind of throw like 500 or 1,000 or whatever here and there without actually having an idea of the numbers behind things. So it's very important to do financial modeling first so that you can set yourself up for a good foundation for your campaign. So once we have the financial modeling out of the way, next what we have to do is actually come up with an offer and a service that would actually command $15,000, right? because realistically, we can't be wanting $15,000 jobs and then advertise mowing or advertise spring cleanups, right? These are going to be need to be larger landscaping jobs. Typically, that's going to involve doing like plant work or some kind of excavation, essentially like a backyard or front yard makeover. That's not going to be too much, where it's going to be like $30,000 and a lot more intricate, but something in between your basic landscaping compared to like a massive overhaul, right? So what I'm saying here is that we're going to need to actually come up with the service that's going to be $15,000, right? And so it's really important when you're thinking about this to create something called positioning, right? So what is that? Basically what that is that we need to present an offer to people that's going to command $15,000. So we're going to be showing pictures and content that are going to be that type of work, right? So we don't want to be showing small jobs on our ads if we're going after $15,000 jobs, right? So we don't want to be showing like leaf cleanup or spring cleanups and stuff like that. Or we don't want to show pictures and videos of mowing or some of these lower ticket services, right? We want to show pictures of the exact type of jobs that we're looking to attract and videos that are based around that. So number one is the content within positioning is super important because the content you put out there is going to be the type of work that you're attracting back, right? That's number one. Number two is also creating an offer that's actually going to attract the right type of people who can afford $15,000, right? So if you're putting out in your ads, hey, we're offering like 15% off and these price discounts and the very price sensitive type ads, well, then generally you're going to attract people who are a little bit more price sensitive. So depending on where you are location wise, $15,000 might be out of the cards for a lot of people. So what I recommend for your positioning is to do something called a free design consultation for this specific scenario. So for $15,000 jobs, that is a little bit more of an intricate landscaping job that could warrant having a design implemented, right? And so if you can offer a free design consultation included with that, not only is that going to be more value for people, so they're going to be able to justify the higher ticket price, but having a free design consultation is going to attract people who need a design. And typically people who need a design, that's going to be a higher ticket job. Number three is getting our media platforms in place. So obviously, number one, we're going to be focusing in on Facebook ads. And for Facebook ads, you have the option actually of advertising also on Instagram. For this, I would recommend mostly to focus in on Facebook. We typically see a lower cost per lead on Facebook ads, and people are generally older on Facebook anyway. So I would say to stay on Facebook is a good option here. What our strategy would be on Facebook, definitely in terms of the targeting, is I like to do a 3-part targeting approach on Facebook, specifically if you want to attract these higher end kind of jobs to be able to hit that $1 million run rate. So basically, number one is we would do broad targeting first with our ads. So broad targeting is that we would target like a very specific geolocation and an age, typically 30 to 65. And that's pretty much it. We're not going to do any interest targeting or any data-driven targeting. It's just going to be age and location. So that's the first type of targeting that we would set up. The second type of targeting that we would set up would be an interest-based targeting. So I personally like to just put an interest in home renovations, something really simple and basic. And then the other type of interest-based targeting that we would do is a lookalike audience, where this is where you would give a data sample, ideally like an email list of 1,000 or so people with names and addresses and phone numbers, and you can actually import that into Facebook. And this is how we'd be able to target people who are specifically buyers of that $15,000 price range, right? So instead of us guessing, what I would rather do is to ask for an email list that would be people who have already bought a service that size, and then just give Facebook that data so we could show ads to people who are more likely to actually afford something like that. And then lastly, the last type of targeting that I would do on Facebook would be remarketing, because if a business is trying to add an additional $1 million to their top line, then that means that they already have some good success in place, which means people are probably already visiting their website. So the first thing that I would look to do is put what's called a Facebook pixel on your website. And basically what that would do is all of the people who are already visiting your website, whether from SEO or trade shows or other forms of advertising, they would be remarketed to on Facebook so that ads would be showing to them as well. So essentially what we're doing here is we're targeting all levels in the buying cycle, right? People who have no idea who you are using broad targeting and lookalike audiences, but then we're also targeting the people who already know who you are and maybe they're thinking about working with you, but it's not quite the right time. We want to remarket to them and show them ads as well so that they can reconsider working with you. And this is how we're going to maximize the lead flow on Facebook ads and make sure basically that we are getting the lowest possible cost per lead so we get more estimates and more jobs coming through. Another media platform that I would tack on if the goal is to hit another million is going to be Google local service ads if you're not using those already. The reason for this is that, again, going back to the buyer cycle, Google local service ads is definitely going to capture people who are already looking for a landscaping job to be done, but they're just looking for, at this point, who do I hire to make it happen? So if the cost per lead would be under $75 on local service ads, I would continue to run local service ads in conjunction with Facebook ads to be able to capture very hot leads so that you could get the sales quicker and essentially capture those low-hanging fruit, right? And so that's what I would do on the media platform side of things. And then number 4, along this blueprint for $1 million campaign, that's super, super important is going to be the sales side of things. Because you could be getting all the leads in the world, but if the sales team, the sales portion of the funnel isn't fully optimized, then hitting that $1 million mark is going to be very difficult. So here's what I've seen that works really well in the past. All the clients that we've helped to add an additional $1 million to their revenue, this is exactly what they did. Number 1 is they had a very powerful CRM setup with automations on the back end. So this could be something like Jobber. This could be any kind of CRM that's just powerful enough to be able to keep track of where customers are at in their buying cycle, but also to be able to set up maybe custom texts and automations to follow up with them. So in our agency, we give clients a CRM included with our service, and we already have it set up with automations for sales and follow-up. So this makes it super, super simple for clients that when they get a lead that comes through, that lead receives an email or receives a text that basically prompts them for more information about their project. So this is going to increase the amount of estimates that are going out and ensure that you're squeezing the most amount out of those leads that are coming through. Having a great CRM is very, very important for hitting those sales targets. The next thing is to just simply have a sales team. Realistically, to add $1 million to your business or hit $1 million in sales, you're most likely going to need some help in terms of having a sales team. This could be having an appointment setter, someone who answers the calls that come in to make sure that you're not missing those opportunities if you're still on the tools or you're involved in the business, right? Or you have maybe an estimator, someone whose job is to go out and do in-person estimates and attempt to close the job right then and there. I can't tell you how many landscapers lose jobs because they're simply emailing over estimates and they just don't have the right sales infrastructure in place to be able to actually deliver estimates effectively. So doing in-person estimates is going to be very valuable, but to do that, you're most likely going to need some help on the sales side of things. So having a sales team, from my perspective, is extremely valuable for hitting that $1 million mark in a campaign. And then lastly, I would definitely recommend adding financing to your business if you have not already. What this is going to do is it's going to open up options for buyers to be able to finance the job if money truly is a barrier, right? And so you can offer some really good financing where it's like $0 down. You can have really great financing plans in place. And this is definitely going to bump up the close rate if the close rate is below 30%, or maybe you're just trying to squeeze more out of that 30 and maybe add the close rate up to 50% or even higher. So definitely would recommend adding financing. I've seen that work really well for our clients. So guys, that is the blueprint to adding an extra $1 million to your business or hitting your first million using Facebook ads. This is the exact blueprint that we've helped clients implement to be able to hit that goal. So I hope you found this video really helpful. If you have any questions, ask below. But as always, if you found this video helpful, I'd really appreciate if you give it a thumbs up, if you subscribe to the channel so I can give more great videos like this to the community and basically provide you with this type of information. So if you found this helpful, give it a like, give it a subscribe. And as always, if you're watching this video right now and you're looking for an expert marketing team to come into your lawn, landscaping, or outdoor living company to really execute a very powerful marketing campaign and get results that are actually moving the needle, then my link is in the description below. You can book a call with our team. I'd be happy to speak with you about how we could support you going forward. Awesome, guys. I'll see you on my next video.